So, first, I would like to thank everybody. The speakers, the keynotes, the moderators, the people from the program committee, and the people who were more specifically in charge of the organization, Greg, Louise, Sylvie, and especially Louise, who carried everything. So, yes. So I think all this has been very enriching for all of us. And at least as for myself, my feeling is that we have a lot in common in what we do. And we have a lot in common, but also we are all in processes that are in, or in institutions, etc., that are in minority in bigger frameworks. The fact is that we manage processes that go against established organization, processes, powers, assessment metrics. So what could be common objectives that we could share? I think the first that was expressed explicitly was that there is a need of sharing mutual information, in particular for learning from others. So this is something we should address. Then, as I said, there is even a political aspect. Probably we could gain in having a network. We should be more powerful against the bigger organizations in which we are. Also in terms of public exposure. So we would gain in also be able to give examples of successful and also powerful initiatives elsewhere, and not only in our institution. So now, as concrete elements of action. First, the ones that are already foreseen, but some of them require your approval. First, videos, but everybody signed a paper, so that's already okay, and all the videos will be put online. So Eric here is in charge of this. Yes, and I did not thank Eric. Yes, you're right. He's been also very instrumental. And so Eric, in about 2 weeks or even a little more, in the coming month, we could say, we'll process all the videos that will be put online. So everything will be available to you. Then what I propose also is that together with the website, we put the slides of everybody, except those of you who will not agree, of course. So if you don't agree, please tell us and we will not put them. And also what I propose, I think one element that was important at the very beginning, and that's also a reason why we accepted so many speakers with less speaking time, is the networking objective. And something I propose also to do, but it also requires now with GDPR your acceptance, is that we issue a sheet with all the emails and affiliations of each of you to all of us, right? So once more, if any of you does not agree, we will not put her name in it, and that's it. So that's for what I'm committed to do as of the organizers. Now, as for future actions. First, something I thought from the very beginning of the organization of the event is, will there be an opportunity of publishing the exchanges today? I think there is ground for it. And there is interest for it. Maybe not all, so it could be simply those of you interested in writing a paper, and then we could gather them in a way. Then the question is which kind of publication, and from discussions we had privately, probably open access would be an appropriate way. The idea is not to make people pay for it, it's otherwise to really have something that could be spread everywhere, and that can be accessible to institutions, to scholars, etc. So it's a possible objective, and there could be possibility with the Mighty Press. Maybe we can speak of that. The second aspect I thought of is that some of us also are researchers, and they also expressed their interest in having some information and about our residencies, our processes. So in terms of shared resources, what could we set up? That's another aspect. Could there be a joint repository where we put together our documentation, or that links to our respective websites, for instance, and which is the main hub? And then a question also arises about future events. I think Greg spoke of that. And in which form? So our idea was really to have something in academic model as a contrast to all the past event in the last days. So that's true that our purpose here was more academic, even if some of you are not from the academic world, right? But of course, we can think of future events much more in accordance to the practices we promote, actually. So it's something completely open. And by the way, generally, interdisciplinary conferences that exist, for instance, in music, they are always including artworks and performances and engagement sessions, etc. So that's it for a short analysis. And now it's up to you. We have few time. I think we can give ourselves 15 minutes for discussion. So up to you.
Okay, so STARTS initiative intends really to create this ecosystem, to link everyone engaged in these domains. So perhaps we could use the starts.eu platform as an online meeting point for sharing and get to knowing everyone working in this area. So I leave you all the invitation to go to the website, register, fill in your profile, and use the blog facility to promote your work, to share the results of your failures, but also your successes. Because that can be a starting point or even a seed for future collaborations, and that could be one of the initial steps to create an ongoing community, a strong community that can perhaps in the future even lead to a network organized by different actors.
And so we could maybe in the next sessions of STARTS ecosystem meetings, we could also discuss of what we could specifically offer to this community.
Yeah, there are different services already planned. Yesterday, one of the roundtables mentioned, okay, we are making artists into residencies, but shouldn't we also have scientists in residencies? In fact, STARTS ecosystem will be promoting a program of scientists in residencies. The final details are now being made and organized, but if you, again, register on the website, for sure you'll be able to get the information first-handed. And if you are a scientist or if you have colleagues that are scientists, can be engaged in those initiatives. Also, the platform intends to have, and this has been already mentioned yesterday, a resource section where, for instance, the templates that Greg presented yesterday for the co-creation process and the monitoring, everything will be there available. You will also be available to share your own resources. For instance, the MIT Collective Wisdom information can be also one valuable resource to be there. So take the chance on that. We also will be having different events planned. One of them is the STARTS in Motion that intends to bring forward the outcomes of already established residencies. So there are plenty of initiatives being planned and organized.
Collaboration toolkit is being developed.
Yeah,
as
so
well.
perhaps you
anything
could...
you want to contribute.
this is web stream. Can you please speak to the microphone?
I've already told the work package leader to watch the stream and to look at the slides, but they're literally trying to finalize this collaboration toolkit. And I said, hold on, we've got all these amazing insights from this weekend. So if you have more you want to add, we hope that will go in, all the wonderful ideas and experiences and perspectives can go into that as well. And we want to share with the larger community.
And it would be great if you extend this invitation to your networks, even outside Europe, because as Deborah mentioned, we have been having here a very westernized vision on how these operations are doing, and perhaps we could benefit immensely if we collect feedback also from overseas.
So what about publishing our exchanges of these days? What do you think? I would be volunteer in being one of the editors, but you know, I don't have enough time to do it alone. I would need several people to do it with me. and so Ariane is also willing to participate. That would be very great.
Where do I sign up?
Sorry. So.
I'm putting together something for Isaiah. I'm putting something together on the history of STARTS for Isaiah, but we could bring other people into that and make it more rich and publish it somewhere else as well. Like bring in Greg and you and other people to develop it further. But it could be something else as well, like it's coming from this.
Yes. Then the choice of the support really depends on the people who will write on it, because if it's researchers, then they have to be published in supports that will be acknowledged in their curriculum. So I rather understand that most of people who spoke are more organizers of residencies, and they are not necessarily they don't need actually to be part of this academic support, but maybe you have other point.
Yes, from editing, I have seen there is 3 years event in Switzerland that is Verbier Submit, and after they submit, they publish a book,
Yes.
a small
Yes,
book.
It's exactly what. Yes.
And for me was the way I discovered the initiative, because I found it in a bookshop in Berlin. That means that sometimes these kind of publications arise more easy to could spread much better than a paper.
Yes, so at the entrance of IRCAM, you see such books that we did after conferences we organized. So yes, of course, but it's a lot of work. You know, I've done it several times, and yes. So before deciding it, everything must be very, very clear. Yes.
Yes. Also, visually, I think sometimes these kind of publications need also a special design, a special communication strategy to be attractive.
So I turn to the person from Leonardo. So do you see possibilities from the supports that exist at MIT Press? Yes.
Thank you. So we did touch on this already a little bit. Yeah, I think from Leonardo's perspective, I'm sure we can offer some platform that would be appropriate for what we pull together. And what I suggest is that you serve as the point person, unless you want to appoint someone else. But already you've had a couple of people in the room say, "Oh, I'll work on this," to pull something together. And then in one format or another, we have several options with Leonardo and MIT Press. I'm sure we can come up with something appropriate.
Yes. So let's discuss further.
And we'll be delighted to do so.
Yes, okay.
Just because we're talking about dissemination, I would like to give a special thanks to, and also because to Art Sciences Residencies TV. So to you guys with the camera who was shot all day long, and because you were normally acting as a lecturer like every one of us, and you decided to shot everything, and also you'll be doing still this afternoon some interviews. So for those who wants to I think it's in the Mediatek in the second floor. But I just want to give you the mic to know a bit what are you going to do with all this material you've been recording.
Well, so thank you first for inviting us like as panelists first. And yes, we wanted to do some interviews and to film these days because I think it's important that it doesn't stay just in this sphere and that it can be broadcasted thanks to the live firstly, but then with the interviews and a bit of your own words on camera and to be able to have I don't know, what you felt or what were the topics more relevant to you and to and so mainly that doesn't stay here, a manner of we were talking about what to do afterwards with this, and our paper with Vladimir and Artists in Residence Television is to serve as a disseminator of information and as well as archiving this information somewhere in video so it can be accessed to everyone and to translate it and to put subtitles as well so it's more reachable to a large audience.
So all the videos will be online?
Yeah, so it will be online, of course, on the website of the IRCAM and Vertigo and on Artists in Residence Television.
Yes, thank you.
Within the month.
Okay.
And
thank you.
Just practically speaking, for this afternoon, how do you want to proceed? Do we have to register at the...
No, just until 2, we will run still the 5 minutes interviews of the panelists in the Mediatek, which is on the second floor. Okay. And then we will be on the minus second floor where we will have the lunch. And from 2 o'clock, we will have a classroom there. So feel free to come. It's only 5 minutes, so it's really quick to work from one person to the other. So please don't leave before doing this interview with us. Thank you.
And it concerns everybody of us, not just the panelists, I guess.
No. It's if you want to share something with us, a word, the words one of the subjects we develop here during these 2 days, it will be our pleasure really to interview you and to share these words with others and to, as we are, for now, really onto sorry, I missed the word. We have been working a lot with Latin America, so it will be it's our first audience for now, in our website. So it will be a pleasure as well to give this outreach to all of your words and interviews.
Thank you very much.
So
you said the word lunch.
So you have still something to say? Yes.
Because you said about organizing new symposiums. I wanted to ask also if will be also here in IRCAM, but could be also a good idea that
of course
some of the universities, institutions came here, could suggest a new symposium, and also is the way that is new people coming to give new experience and ideas.
With the studio. A space with the studio.
Let's go to Norway and do the symposium on the boat.
But that's a very good idea, and I think we can think about it as challenging ourselves, so that the next time we have to show off new projects, a new way of doing things. Of course, taking what has been said today.
Different forms of knowledge.
Different forms.
Yeah, I have personally I've really enjoyed this event, and I've learned a lot, which we will take back into our organization of Artec. And it has crossed my mind that this should be an event that is repeated in some way or another. And I've already discussed with Alex a little bit, but we haven't committed, and we won't commit, but we would be really interesting in putting this into one of our events. Okay. So maybe and hopefully we'll be able to invite you to Trondheim. I think maybe midwinter, because come on, everyone has seen the sun, but you need to learn to live without the sun. It makes you more creative. That's for sure. So it's not a promise, but I think we have certain events coming up. We're going to have an art science week with a lot of support from local government and also national government. So I'll keep in contact with the the STARTS community and see what we can do.
Okay, great.
I just want to say thank you very much. It's been a huge learning experience on all levels. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.